Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I am playing the Tier 10 US Destroyer Gearing. This is an all Tier 10 match. There's no CV, thank goodness. Anytime I'm playing a destroyer in particular, I'm very glad to see that there is no aircraft carrier in the game. Radar threats? Well, there's a little radar, but not a whole lot. Petropavlovsk, of course, has 12-kilometer radar, so that is always a worry when you're playing a destroyer. But my spawn location means that if I'm careful, even if the Petro is on this side, I should be able to avoid being caught in his radar. If I had spawned north of Charlie or north of Delta, and the expectation was that I need to contest those caps at some point, it's a much bigger worry. So what am I doing here? Well, I'm going to push south, see if I can't spot any DDs that are heading this way. Presumably that's what my radio location or radio position finder has lit up right now. And if you're not familiar with that, you can see above the aiming reticule there's a little kind of semicircular white line with a, I guess, kind of a more faint white line underneath it. That indicates the general direction of the nearest enemy ship to my location. And that gives me some idea of where, more than likely, an enemy destroyer is pushing forward. Now, sometimes that can be very, very helpful. If I were, where our Holland is at currently, for example, where there's essentially kind of a narrow lane to throw torpedoes through, sometimes you can land torpedo hits with that thing. You can just have some idea of where the destroyer's at. If there's not a whole lot of room to maneuver, you can just kind of cover an area between rocks, and maybe you land one or two. Now, why did I throw those torpedoes out there? Well, I can see where the nearest ship to me is, which I'm presuming is a destroyer. And it's probably somewhere on the 2 line, if I had to guess. And I threw torpedoes more center, kind of toward the enemy cap, really. Why did I do that? Well, I'm hoping I'm going to catch someone crossing there. And it doesn't have to be someone on the Foxtrot line. It could be someone who's crossing way back there, because these torpedoes have 16.5 kilometers of range. Now you can see the enemy Montana way back there. And maybe one of those torpedoes lands. Not always, but sometimes you can get a lucky torpedo hit or two during a portion of the game and there's the Marcel. So that's what I've been picking up at the radio location. As battleships maneuver in places where they feel like they're probably safe to do that, they'll show some side. And occasionally you can land a torpedo that way. Not always, sometimes. And I do manage to get a hit on the Bourgogne. And it looks like maybe on Montana, we'll see. Yeah. So no guarantee, and a lot of times nothing happens when you do that. But that is why I threw those out there. They felt comfortable at that range, showing some broadside, and I'm going to do it again. I don't want to push south, because although I do have some support here, the Marceau is a very tough customer, and it puts out a lot of shells in a very short period of time. If I get sunk on this side, the Marceau is going to be able to push up, his team's going to be able to follow, and they're going to be able to get this flank. And I'm just pointing out where I think the destroyer's at. That's why I'm pinging there. You can see our Smolensk has said he understood, and there he is. There's the Marceau in the area that I was pinging. Now our Smolensk, he's going to be the easiest target. I mean, if he gets detected, I'm sure he's going to be the focus of basically the entire enemy flank here. Now you can see a lot of shells heading his way. But, very tough ship. Holland takes him out with torpedoes. Now that's a huge thing. Now I'm going to go ahead and smoke up. And why am I smoking up? Well, Yoshino's got a very accurate guns. Borgonia takes out the Smolensk. And I do not want to take any more damage than I have to. You know, my general philosophy when playing destroyers, well, any ship really, but in destroyers in particular, save as much AP as possible. Because you just never know what might happen at the end of the game where you're really going to need that HP.
Smoke screen set.
Now, I don't want to sit here in this smoke. Now, the minimap tells me the gearing was over there south of Delta, but Holland could be anywhere, and I'm guessing the Holland has come to this side. Why am I guessing that? Well, because our Petro is in basically the middle of the Charlie Cap, and that creates a 24-kilometer wide destroyer no-go zone. The Holland does not want to get detected by radar. Now, I'm guessing our Petro is about to get sunk, but yeah, okay, so now we can see where the Holland's at. And how did it get lit up? Almost certainly it's the Petro radar, which gives you some idea of how big a circle that 24-kilometer wide radar diameter is. I don't think those are going to hit anything. Close. Oh, look at that. Did manage to land one on the Montana. That's great. And he's repaired. So, if I can land another one, yeah, down goes the Petro. Our Petro just pushed in, kind of insanely, in my opinion, to what was probably a really ugly crossfire. You can see where the Thunderer is at down there. And there was a Petro there and a Montana a little bit farther back. I'm sure he was taking fire from basically everybody. There's nobody else to shoot over there. And our Petro's upset that no one else YOLO'd with him, I guess. Everybody needs to uninstall because he got impatient. Yeah, whatever, man. This is not going to go well for Montana. How many will I land here? 1, 2? 2. That's great. Really great. And he's going to flood for a little while, because he did repair on the last torpedo hit. Now, I may not get the final. Yeah, Holland finishes him with fire. But every little bit helps, right? So we were down 3 ships to only 1, but now we're down 3 ships to 2. And this is still anybody's game. Nobody has managed to secure a cap, beyond the original one that we had at the beginning of the game. We are down 80 points. But we're in a position now to be able to really put a hurt on these battleships. I question Holland coming to this side, but at the same time, the fact that Holland came to this side means that we're going to be able to just absolutely flood this entire zone with torpedoes. His torpedoes load quite a bit faster than mine, and the torpedoes themselves are much faster, but mine hit harder. Either way, it's going to be a lot of torpedoes in the water for the Borgonia, Conqueror, Thunderer to have to contend with. Now, I'm radio located. Now, that tells me that almost certainly there's an enemy DD, and that is what my radio locator is pointing toward right now. Yeah, Conqueror is going to eat at least a couple there. I don't want to get spotted by the Yoshino, so I'm going to come back this way. That's 4 torpedoes on the Conqueror. And I'm just pointing out to the team that, hey, this guy's in really bad shape. Finish him before he starts healing up. can see where our Thunderer and our pink Montana are at. And we do lose pink Montana. Okay, so we're down 4 ships. Bad guys are only down 2. But our Thunderer does finish off their Conqueror. So now it's a little bit closer. Holland has pushed in. There's almost certainly that's what's got me radio located. Now I did smoke up. Well, why? Because the Bourgogne is just right there in front of me. And at this range, if he decided to target me, it would definitely hurt. Now my smoke has still got 9 seconds, 8 seconds. I'm going to try and get turned around here, angled against the possible torpedo strike from the Holland.
Smoke screen set.
And why did I hang on to the torpedoes? Well, because Bourgogne is going to be actively maneuvering right now. I want him to relax and make a decision about which way he's going to go before I throw the torpedoes out. We lose our Holland to the enemy Holland. Yes, I could have been firing on the Holland. I absolutely could have. I really wanted to try and finish Bourgogne. I know more or less where the Holland is at. I can get into the edge of this cap here, keep him from securing the cap. Really hoping Bourgogne is going to get sunk, but he is just accelerated right out from in front of these torpedoes, so I have to engage the Holland. And look who else is here. So I've got a Gearing, a Holland, and a Bourgogne behind me. Really a good thing that I was conserving my hit points.
The ship is on fire.
I'm going to be able to finish this Gearing.
Enemy destroyer
And I'm angled up against the Holland. There's no way the Gearing got his torpedoes away, and I've still got plenty of time on my smoke here. Yeah, you can see the shots coming in from Bourgogne behind me. Now I have to decide which way to go here when I come out of the smoke. I've only got a couple seconds. Brought my guns around to the port side. I'm just trying to stay as angled as possible to the Bourgogne. Keep my nose toward the Holland so that I managed to get a detonation on the Holland. That helps immeasurably. I think I would have finished him anyway, but that detonation really helps. Our Montana takes out the enemy Petropavlovsk. Ouch. Yeah, that really hurt. That was Yoshino. That's the threat that I mentioned earlier. Really accurate guns, even at range. And I was really hoping that our Thunderer would finish up the Bourgogne here. Looked like he's firing AP. Republic is definitely firing AP, and he's got his broadside, so we might catch him. Yeah, Thunderer got him. So, at this point, it's 5 ships to 5 ships. We did secure the Delta, and the bad guys have secured the Charlie Cap. And there's a little bit of a gap there that I'm hoping to catch the Yoshino with if he crosses through Charlie. Now I could move center, absolutely. At this point I'm thinking, you know, do I hunt down the Thunderer, or do I try to catch the Montana, who appears to be running north along the 4 line? And this is, at least to my mind, this is risky because, you know, I don't have that much in the way of hit points left, 5,230 hit points. One good shot from a battleship with HE, and that could be at the end of it for me. Our Montana goes down to the enemy Austin. So we have 4 ships, they've got 5. We're down 128 points. But Montana is definitely coming north. I've got 17 seconds, my torpedoes will be up. Thunderer is starting to come this way, so I'm going to have to thread a needle here. I've got to try and get torpedoes out on the Montana hoping he's going to fire at our Republic and make himself visible again. Our Kaba takes out the Austin. It's now 4 ships to 4 ships, but we're still down points-wise quite a bit. I don't want to get detected here. I've got to count on Montana keeping the same line, and I've got to avoid getting spotted. Spread the torpedoes out enough, I think, that by the time they get there, even if he slows because he's turning or a little bit, anything along those lines, I should still be able to tag him pretty good. If I finish him off, that changes the scoreboard a little bit. And I think that's going to be it for Montana. Now, we're still down on points, but this isn't over yet. I've got basically a full health Thunderer here to deal with. And, my friends, the Republic and the Yoshino over there, they're going to, more than our Republic and our friendly Yoshino, they've got a Yoshino to contend with. And that Yoshino seems to be YOLOing in. He might be intending to ram someone. Now, I'm not exactly sure what Thunder is going to do here, but I know he wants to keep guns on my guys over there. And the Republic takes out the enemy Yoshino. Enemy Thunderer takes out our Yoshino. But we are up a ship. We're still down on points. And there Henri's pushing in to stop our points at the Delta Cap. He doesn't have to secure it, he just has to keep our points from advancing. Thunderer is liable to do what the Bourgogne did earlier. He's liable to accelerate out from in front of these torps. But maybe I catch him with one. If I can get a flood at all or any hits, it's definitely a big help. Okay, so we know we're going to land at least one, maybe a couple here. Okay, so there's definitely a couple of floods that he's had to repair. So now, he's got his guns pointed the other way. If I can even just get a fire started, it's going to burn a while. Trying to aim into the superstructure. Hoping for a fire. You can see he's starting to turn out a little bit. Now our Kaba is saying run. We do have a 10-point advantage. I've got a little bit of time till his guns get pointed this way. He's trying to stop our points. Now, he can do that to us. I can't really do that to them, or our team can't really do that to them. I'm guessing he's not going to continue to accelerate. I'm guessing he's either going to angle up against me. You can see I got hit there, but I managed to survive it. If I land a torpedo, it's probably enough. Either way, this has been a heck of a game. I really appreciate you joining me here. Love to hear any comments you may have. And I'll see you.